Hello all and welcome to today's video. My name is John McFall and I want to welcome you to the McFallRI channel where I teach you how to make $25 to $30 an hour doing food delivery, and I also teach you how to make semi-passive income. In today's video, I want to talk to you about bonuses and peak pays and challenges because I went out on Christmas Day and I worked 8 hours, and I actually had a challenge from GrubHub that was to take 7 deliveries between 4 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. And if I took this challenge and I did it, I was going to make a bonus of $28. So I want to talk to you about this bonus and bonuses and peak pay in general. And I want to tell you the outcome of this challenge that I did for GrubHub. Before we get into the topic, I do want to remind you that in my description I have my metric spreadsheet. This spreadsheet will help you do better when you're out here doing food delivery, and I'm going to throw it up here on the screen real quick so you guys can take a quick look at it. If you look at the left-hand side, you're going to see I always put my start time and my end time. This gives me the total hours that I've worked. I also put in the miles, and then if you look to the right, I always put in the dollars that I've made, the time that I worked, along with the number of deliveries for each individual app. Head to the bottom then, and you'll see that it calculates out what your average dollar per hour, dollar per mile, along with your average per delivery. If you want to know how well you're doing when you're out here doing food delivery so that you can see where you need to improve, the only way that you can do this is if you keep track of your numbers. So head down into my description to go grab a free copy of it for yourself so that you can see where you are and see where you need to improve. And with that, let's get into the topic. So the first question that I want to answer to you guys is, why is it that these apps give you peak pay and bonuses and challenges? A lot of people think that it is so that you can make more money, but in reality, the reason that these apps do this is to make sure they get the orders covered that they have coming in. It is to benefit them as much as it is to benefit you, and they try to give you as little as they can to cover the orders that they have through the peak pay and the bonuses and the challenges that they throw out there. So I want to start by saying that it's not just so that you can make more money, it is so that they can get their orders covered. And I want to talk about the different types of peak pay and bonuses and challenges and kind of tell you a little bit about the difference in the ones that they throw out there. I'm going to talk to you about a few of them today, and the first one that I want to talk to you about is challenges. As I said, on Christmas Day, GrubHub threw me a challenge, and I typically don't do challenges, and I'll explain this to you a little bit in the future in the video here, but I typically don't do challenges because they are not worth my time and effort. But GrubHub threw me a challenge on Christmas. I thought I'd try it and see if I could do it, and basically what it was is that from 4 o'clock in the afternoon until 9:30 at night, if I took 7 deliveries for GrubHub, they were going to give me a bonus of $28. So a lot of the challenges are specific number of orders, and they also have some criteria. Like GrubHub said that if you decline 3 or more orders, then the challenge will start over for you. So you can decline up to 2, but if you get to that 3rd, your number goes back to 0 and you have to start all over again. So a lot of times when they put challenges out there, they also put criteria in there so that they can make sure that you are taking care of them. Another type of challenge is one that DoorDash did, and DoorDash has done challenges to where they say over a month's period, if you take a certain amount of deliveries, that you will get a bonus on top of the normal pay that you would receive. I can remember one probably about 6 months ago that they did, and you had to take about, I think it was 250 deliveries in a month, and they were going to give you a bonus. I don't remember the exact amount on it, but you had to take a certain amount of deliveries during that month to reach and get that bonus. The two problems that there was with this bonus is after you divided it out and looked at it as a per delivery bonus, they were giving you an additional 44 cents per delivery. The other problem this challenge had is to get the amount of deliveries that they wanted you to take, you had to take about 15 deliveries a day on DoorDash to get it, which meant that if you took all these deliveries from DoorDash, you were minimizing the amount of money that you could make because you literally had to accept every order DoorDash sent you, no matter what the payout was and no matter what the mile was. So when you take a look at challenges that the platforms send you, you've really got to do the math and calculate out what that equals out in the end and at the bottom line to get the extra money that they are offering, because if it's 44 cents for each delivery, it's not worth it for you to pursue it. If you have to accept virtually every order that they send you, if you know anything especially about DoorDash, you decline anywhere from about 80 to 90% of what they send you because they are crap. So in this case, again, the challenge was not worth it. The other type of bonus that you can get when you're out doing food delivery is the ones that I actually like the most and the ones that I care for. The other ones, quite frankly, I don't care for them. The ones that I do care for is the DoorDash Peak Pay. This gives you an extra amount of dollars for each delivery that you take during that peak pay period. Uber Eats is very similar, and when they get really busy, they will throw out, number one, a multiplier. So for each delivery that you take, if the multiplier is in place, you will get a bonus on the base amount of that order. Not including tips, not including trip supplements, but you will get a multiplier on the orders that you are taking. Typically in my marketplace, you get anywhere from about 1.3 times that base amount up to about 1.6. And the other thing that Uber Eats does is when it's very busy, they will throw out bonuses per delivery, but they don't just blanket like DoorDash does and say, in this marketplace, you get a bonus per delivery for all of the orders that come in this actual area. They will actually pick areas in the marketplace and throw out bonuses based on how busy it is in each of those areas. So you might see in a marketplace that you're going to get $1 more per delivery in this area. However, in this area, you will get, let's say $5 extra to delivery. I've seen a swing that much in one marketplace on Uber Eats on their peak pay. So I really like these kind because it is an instant. If you do this delivery, I will give you this extra money for this extra peak pay, and this is not something that you have to really meet any criteria to do except for to pick up orders like you normally would. So the last thing I want to talk to you about is this one that I did on Christmas with GrubHub, because it absolutely sucked, and I just really did it because I wanted to see what happened so that I could talk to you guys about it here on the channel. And the first 5 orders went really, really well on this channel or challenge. I started at 4 o'clock. It was during dinner rush, and I got literally back-to-back orders for the first 5 orders. After that, things started to slow down on me, and I ended up taking about 2 hours to get the last couple of deliveries because that's how much it had slowed down. There was a real rush during dinner time, and then after that it went basically to shit. The problem that was happening on Christmas is, number one, most of the restaurants were closed in the marketplace. So you literally had Chinese restaurants, McDonald's, and Taco Bell. There was a very few amount of restaurants that were open on Christmas. And to get the challenge, you had to accept most of the orders that they send you. What ended up happening then was they were giving you literally $1 or less per mile on the offers that they were sending me. And if you know anything about my strategy is $1.50 and above per mile. The other thing that was happening was, because there were not a whole lot of restaurants open, they were literally sending me up to 15 miles to go pick up an order from a restaurant. I actually went to pick up an order from a Taco Bell, and I drove about 15 miles to go pick it up. When I got to that restaurant, it was closed, so it was a complete waste of my time. It was a complete waste to drive there, and it was a complete waste of miles, and GrubHub did not compensate me when I told them the restaurant was closed. So that whole 15 minutes and that whole drive and going to that restaurant was completely on me, and they gave me nothing for doing it. I only drove to that restaurant because I knew that I had to accept the order, because I had actually declined 2 orders that were very similar to that because they were so far away. To meet the challenge and to get that $28, I had to accept that order, so I went ahead and did it. And after that restaurant was closed, I actually got another order from a restaurant that was about a mile away. It was McDonald's, and that allowed me to complete the challenge, and I thought that everything was great. I was on the way to deliver that order to the customer. Now remember, I said you had 7 orders that you had to take. That was my 7th one. I had declined 2 during that period, and that was it. I didn't decline any more. Since I was on my 7th one and it was towards the end of my shift, I decided that I was going to end my day and not take any more orders since I completed the trip. And I ended up getting another order request when I was on that delivery, and I actually hit the decline button because I didn't want to take any more orders for the day. So I want to show you up here real quick what ended up happening and take a look at the orders that I picked up here, and you'll see that between 4 o'clock and 7 o'clock I took the required amount of orders for the challenge. The next slide I want to throw up here for you to take a look at is what happened after I delivered that order for that customer. Basically what happened is, because I declined that order when I was on the way to drop off the last order, they counted that against the challenge that I was on, and they made it so because I declined that order that it started that counter over. Basically what happened is I had taken 6 deliveries and declined 2 orders. I had picked up that last order since I was still active on it, and I declined 1. Then it put that against me, and guess what? I didn't get my $28 for doing that challenge. So what's the moral in this story? What should you take away from this based on what I just talked about with what happened with GrubHub? If I would have been running Uber Eats and DoorDash and not focusing specifically on GrubHub, number one, I would have not had to have drove so much, because I would have been able to pick up restaurants in my general area that I was. Sure, there was a lot of restaurants that were open, but if I were running all 3 apps, I would not have had to drive so far to go pick up my next order, because I had to meet that requirement on GrubHub specifically. The second thing is had I run my normal strategy instead of taking the orders on GrubHub exclusively, I would have gotten a better dollar to time, because I would have picked those orders that would have given me better dollars per hour, and I wouldn't have had to accept the lower paying orders just to meet this challenge. So I think I would have actually made more money than had I not taken on this challenge with GrubHub. So my recommendation to you in all this is, if it is peak pay, such as I talked about with DoorDash and with Uber Eats, where they just say, we are really busy right now, we're going to give you an extra, dollar to, $3, $4, $9 on an order because we are just that busy that we need you to cover the orders. And if you take this one delivery, we're going to give you this peak pay. This is the only challenge, this only peak pay, the only bonus that I would ever truly go for, because the rest of the challenges, the challenges are stacked in the favor of the platforms. And although sometimes you can get, bonuses and challenges that benefit you, I will say that most of the time these are stacked in the favor of the platforms and they are not in your favor. So really take a look at them. I'm not going to tell you to not do them, but I'm going to tell you to take a look at them and see what the criteria is to meet them, and also take a look at what the outcome is. What do you get for completing the challenge in your marketplace, and see if it is worth your time and effort to do. In the case of GrubHub, this on the 25th, it was not in my best interest to do because of the situation and because of what the outcome was. So I hope you got a lot out of today's video. I want to remind you, head down into my description and go grab that metric spreadsheet. I also have some other great tools in there for you, which is the Beans app and SimplyWise and QuickBooks Self-Employed. I want to leave you with, I hope that you are getting the money that you and your family deserve. And with that, I want to say thanks.